What's going on, traders? It's Andrew O'Connell with Pristine Capital coming at you with yet another market recap video. It is April 15th, 2021. Please click the like button on this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this content, and I will continue to make it for you. Today, we're going to talk about the price action in the indices. There was a lot that went on. Today was a very explosive day. We'll go under the hood and check out our sectors and style factors as we always do. We'll talk about some of my trades for the day, and I tried to be, as I've been saying over the past couple of videos, trying to be a little bit less active during opex week, and then we'll wrap up with some options order flow. Before we jump in, quick risk disclaimer as always, nothing in this video should be construed as investment advice or recommendations. Please follow your own trading plan and your own risk parameters. And last but certainly not least, do not YOLO your entire investment account into any one of my trades. All right, let's jump right in here. So let's take a look for our S&P 500. Let's go through our box scores first. So we had S&P 500 close up 1.07% for the day. We had the NASDAQ QQQ finish up 1.52%. IWM small caps were the laggard, finishing up 0.43%. And we had the Dow Jones finishing up 0.86%. So really, the primary theme that stood out for me in terms of framing up this price action is, we've had this magnificent melt up for the past, maybe 2 weeks of trading. And you can see here, that melt up, it's insane. So we've just been riding this 5-day exponential moving average higher. Yesterday, we got the first little mini sign of weakness here that you can see, a red candle that I think caught a lot of people off guard. So I would imagine there are players that yesterday, maybe took some exposure off, decided, hey, let me take some profits, get out while the going's good, that sort of thing. Today, I would definitely call this an expectation breaker, where I think people coming in with that mindset of okay, let me ease up a little bit. Immediately, it was okay, gap up higher and, run throughout the day. So I think this was definitely one of those days, I posted about this earlier, where if you were either not invested or maybe you flipped bearish or maybe you took some of your trades off or whatever, I think this was one of those days where a lot of people would capitulate and be like, oh my gosh, now I really got to get in. So I think that was the story. We ended up having some retail sales data that came out in the morning. Not retail sales data. We had initial jobless claims data. And I believe retail sales data as well. And, the economic data was very strong. What was super interesting is, we'll jump back to the ES in a second. But if you look, we had strong economic data, and the narrative has been inflation, reflation, bond yields moving higher. But if you look at these bond yields and what they did, okay, so you can see they're coming off just slightly in the the futures market in the after hours here. But yeah, in the 10-year Treasury futures, we got a really nice green candle. So what it looks like is there were likely some crowded trades here where, maybe a lot of investors were positioned short bonds. And as part of that short duration trade, mega cap tech is part of that. Gold is part of that. So today it just looked like major short covering, capitulation. Anybody that was short those themes, really got taken to the woodshed. So yeah, you can see that was definitely reflected in the price action here. If you look at the 30-year treasuries as well, you can see they're coming off in the after hours here. But yeah, incredible squeeze higher with these 30-year treasuries. All right, so let's jump back into our ES here. So let's take a look. So ES, still very bullish, still very extended. I think at this point it's very plain to see, to almost anyone, the market's gone up very fast, in a short period of time. Essentially, we are still riding this 5-day exponential moving average higher. And you can see now we're pretty extended from the 5-day EMA as well. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point tomorrow we did, retest this 5-day EMA. Nothing crazy about that, at all. But yeah, really nice, essentially what it looked like to me was a pretty much like a blow-off move in the markets. We ended up hitting a high, I think, in SPX of like 41.73. So yeah, just a really nice move in the S&P 500. If we look at the Qs, yeah, you can see the Qs. This one especially, we essentially had like, really nice green candle, boom. Then it was like, oh my gosh, if you got long in that, you really had to adjust yourself yesterday and really maybe take down exposure or whatever. But then today was like the reversal of the reversal. So this is definitely like, I would say in terms of like the psychological or mental game of investing and trading, today was definitely like a big whammy of like, expectation breaker compared to yesterday. So if we look at the NQ, still looking super strong. You can see the NASDAQ has made a new all-time high, trading way above this monthly value area. We got this bullish crossover here, but again, it is also very extended. And then if we look at the RTY, the Russell, you can see here kind of just waffling around, honestly. Like, yeah, you can see we're, we closed above the key moving averages, so that's good. But we keep wicking out, on the upside and the downside. These small caps are definitely very range bound. And then if we look as well, we'll pull up our Dow Jones. YM. Dow Jones, definitely is just trending nicely. It's not having like the crazy lift that the NASDAQ is. But you can see again, this one also is just riding that 5-day exponential moving average higher. All right, so if we look under the hood here, let's take a look at our heat map. And you can see the mega caps, had a beautiful day today. Nice breadth across the board in these mega caps. NVIDIA was a name that I day traded today, up 5.63%. But yeah, you can see very broad strength. And yesterday, it was kind of the opposite, where a lot of these mega cap tech names had a bit of a dip. Today, you can see this was very broad based, where we had financials, parts of financials rallying. You can see medical devices had a really nice day. Healthcare, just a lot of breadth on this move today. This is something. Let me pull up these sectors first, because we're talking about like under the hood what happened. I'll go through that. That was like the the bad indicator. So let's see. So for our sectors, going in deeper, we have software in our top slot now, up 1.85%. And then medical devices, who'd have thunk it? I haven't seen medical devices at the top of this list in a while, up 2.25% today. Gold miners as well, having a really nice day, up over 4%. And then if you look at the laggards here, we had solar energy lagging, the SPAC ETF lagging, and then the cannabis ETF lagging as well. Yeah, you can see a lot of really explosive moves from many of these different areas of the market. Then if we look at our style factors, you'll see something very similar. One point today, the high beta and the cyclicals were down pretty big, but they ended up coming back as well. But you can see her momentum and growth really stealing the show, and just broad participation. Okay, so basically in terms of like, my trading system, what I'm doing. So we had my risk indicator flash yesterday, that red light. Today we ended up getting, just really bullish day. And that's sort of what I would expect if we get like a blow off into opex. That's pretty common, especially when sentiment gets really hot like this and the market starts moving like a runaway freight train. It's not uncommon to get, price action like this, where it's like, oh my gosh, now everyone's capitulating in, like that sort of thing. But this is just another indicator. I went through this one during my weekend analysis with Pristine Capital members, but this is the S&P 500 percentage of stocks above their 50-day simple moving average. You can see at this point, there's only been one other time within the past 5 years. Wow, yeah, 5 years, where we've had a higher percentage of stocks above their 50-day simple moving average, and that was in June of 2020. So yeah, we are very, across a couple different indications, in terms of like, where is this trend? I would say this is like the point where it's like climaxing, it's picking up speed. Um, all the doubters are now turning into believers, like that sort of thing. That's where I would say we are in terms of this trend. So who knows? Maybe we get the blow off to like 4,200. But this is definitely, we're sort of in like that sell zone. Where I do think like if you're going all in the last few days where like you get that blow off, then yeah, like you can make a lot of money in it. But in terms of just like uh looking for an edge and sort of like being like I want to play like a high percentage game, this is kind of, you have to look at this and be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is getting up there a little bit. Now let's take a look. So we went through style factors. We'll take a look at some of my trades for today. And I don't think I had that much. Yeah, so I had no stock trades for today. And then for options trades, yeah, so I got long some NVIDIA 640 strike calls for 28.50. Scalped out of those at $30 about 45 minutes later. So yeah, I was like, you know what, I'll take something for a day trade, look for an opportunity like that. But yeah, for opex, I don't want to get, especially given like where we are, I kind of see that it looks like we're climaxing. I don't want to do all that much, and especially before opex, I don't really like to take on like a bunch of new exposure. And then, towards the end of the day at around 2 o'clock, I got long some Okta May 280 strike calls for $12.85. Okta is a name that I own some common stock, traded that for a nice winner. And this name just keeps going. So this is really like, say if tomorrow we just get even more of a blow off, like it's like, oh my God, everyone just piles in. Okta, you can see here, we have a virgin point of control at 283.89. So if we do just get like, the power continues, this is a name where, it's trending very nicely. It's pretty extended at this point as well. But if we get that, if the power continues, I think this one should, continue to participate. So I added that one on. But that was it for me today. So today I was really just like observing and just kind of like, seeing the game board, taking things into account. And if we take a look at our options order flow for today, you can see here, yes, I noticed there were some call sweepers early in the morning for NVIDIA, and NVIDIA ended up having a really nice move even into the end of the day here. So yeah, you can see NVIDIA, incredible move. Yeah, finished up 5.63%, really nice. But yeah, that one we were seeing call sweepers all morning. They were under $1 million though. They were like 700 grand here, 500 grand here, that sort of thing. Now let's take a look. Yeah, so we had some Dell calls. Dell, let's take a look how Dell finished. Yeah, so Dell, I believe they reported earnings. Oh, it looks like they spun off their VMware. Yeah, so they did their spin-off, not earnings. But yeah, nice gap up here. It looks like there was, a bit of almost like a doji candle, so nothing too crazy. But, definitely made a new closing high, so that is good. You can see somebody was buying July calls in Dell. NVIDIA looks like maybe somebody was putting a hedge on or something like that. And then you can see some SPY call buyers for Friday. So they hit this one nicely. They purchased these calls at 10:45 a.m. So that was a good trade on their part. Now let's see this one, SunPower. I believe this one is a clean energy name. Clean energy names, they're so out of favor. Oh my gosh, yeah. So somebody's bottom fishing this one. I certainly won't do that, but maybe they have like a fundamental view on SunPower. And then you can see gold. Yeah, gold also had a very nice move today. So yeah, you can see it closed above the 50-day, and it has not done that. Let's get this out of here. Let's get all this garbage off. Hang on, let me go over to TradingView. So for FinViz, it's like, you know, some of the defaults are like kind of weird. But anyway, we'll go here and we'll pull up GLD. And yeah, GLD, so you can see, if we look at this, it's actually kind of funny. So gold has been in a downtrend since August. And if you look, there's been a couple times when we have traded above this 50-day simple moving average. And we've put in, you know, this is like almost an identical candle to this one that we just put in. So far, every time we've gotten above the 50, it's just resulted in, boom, us getting knocked way lower at some point. So we'll have to see. I mean, we did put in a nice sideways base here. And what I think is starting to happen is, like, take this into context. So we got really nice economic data today. And the cyclicals and the recovery names, you know, were some of the worst performers on the day. And then bonds, which you would think would sell off when we get really strong data, you know, rallied, you know, like, you know, crazy. Gold, which typically does good in an environment where the economy is decelerating rather than accelerating, had a really nice blow off day. So what it looks like we're starting to do, or what market participants are doing, is this period of like stellar economic growth, you know, that we're currently in, I think they're starting to look past and be like, okay, we already did the recovery trade. Now let's add on exposure to some of the things that we add as we progress throughout the cycle a little bit. So we'll have to see. Gold is something I'll continue to watch it and see how it does in the days and weeks to come. Yeah, gold looks like a call buyer there. And then you can see more NVIDIA, Apple. We have some hedgers coming in. And let's see T-Mobile real quick. This is one I do have in the trend portfolio. Okay, yeah, T-Mobile looks solid here. This is putting in like, you know, nice little rally, and then, you know, putting in a sideways consolidation here. So this looks like, you know, it could be on track to take out these highs again. So we'll have to see. But this is another example of a lot of these more defensive names that are really catching bids and, you know, really starting to rally in a meaningful way. So yeah, very interesting. That about does it for this market recap video. Hope you all had an awesome day. And congrats, we made it to options expiration Friday. So I'll see you all tomorrow in the pre-market session. Have a good night.